Well, if you don't like my show, don't curse your radio. You know that no one likes my company anyway. But if you listen closely and talk intelligently, then maybe you can be a disappointment.
The views and opinions of the Disappointing Radio Show do not reflect the views and opinions of WWSU Radio, Wright State Universities, nor their entities. Now that we've got our formalities out of the way, let's take our clothes off and get at each other. No, I'm just kidding, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Disappointing Radio Show. You've mistakenly, or I guess, been twisted in by me guilt-tripping you into listening to the show on Thursdays. Welcome for all of you that are about to spend an hour and a half regretting your next decisions. Today's episode is going to be all over the place because I don't know where it's going to go because that's life and deal with it. Today's guest on mic one is...
DKnight.
Oh, man, I'm excited. We knew each other from the radio station. You became a director. Now you're working on other stuff. You're a local rapper.
Yeah.
You've been booked at JD Legends, which I know that doesn't mean a lot to some people at home, but to put it in perspective, one of my closest best friends, Knox Morris, got booked there multiple times and now is in Nashville, getting his own EP made, like a multi-song record. So that's cool.
Okay,
so
shout out to Knox,
if you're going to be booked at JD Legends, you must have some skill. So that's why I brought you, because you must be worth my time, sonny boy.
I think I am.
I want to start off by saying, there's not a lot of people in the radio station of color in terms of like staff. So when you first came, I was very excited. And because everybody knows at home, I'm a very predominantly black male. And it's nice to see you of my kind. And for all of you snickering at home, because I'm a white kid that looks like a Jew. See, that's a rough joke to pitch, especially right at the beginning. The I'm black, no, I'm kidding, I'm a Jew. See, that's that 80-year-old margin of like fan base we're trying to hit for comedy. It's like, he finally said Jew, but then they're really waiting for me to say like, and then you slip a KIKE, and they're like, whoa, I didn't even know people still knew that word. What's happening? So we are gonna talk rap. We're going to talk music. That's why I thought I'd bring you on, is because I like to talk music with my buddies. And you being of equal color as I, culturally, we could talk some stuff that I think we both know about, like gangster rap and the complexity of Biggie and Tupac's relationship and how without that feud, I don't really think the East Coast, West Coast like explosion would have happened. And that's important because of that, a lot of good albums came out because they had good lines for beef. I mean, so like, I don't know. Everything is for a reason. And I never want to say like those two dying was a good thing. But honestly, like, I think it had to happen at some point. Someone had to die and be like immortalized in bronze forever as like rap god of this side of the country. And then another person had to die on the other side and be that god. And then both of them in death will become friends because in life, they were struggling, and that was just happened to be Biggie and Tupac because they were really close friends and then fell out. But I don't know.
Man, you want to know something though? After looking into it a little bit, I don't think Tupac died from the East Coast West Coast thing.
No, I don't think it was like
I think Pac died from some I think LA gang culture had a lot to do with Pac's death because that the night he got shot, they had got into a fight with, us gang members at the casino.
Right.
Biggie and, Puffy and all them, I don't think they had anything to do with that.
Dude, literally, like, he's been in so many interviews after Pac's death about the situation. He's like, dude, I didn't plan it. There's nothing like that. Like, we were homies.
Yeah.
And then he got caught up in some stuff in New York when he was on his way to be in a building I was already at, not to see me, but to make a record with somebody else. But if he's in the building, I'm like, what's up? Like, he's my homeboy. Let's smoke blunts. Let's write lyrics. Let's do whatever. And when that happened, he was devastated.
Right.
You're not devastated if you planned it. Like, he was, but here's the other thing. Why didn't he, bail him out? I've always thought about that. Why didn't he bail him out?
Well, see,
why does he have to be the guy to bail him out?
I'm not. Well, see, I'm not. Yeah, I don't know.
And here's the other thing I'd like to pitch. If Biggie would have bailed out Tupac, Suge Knight would have never done it. And say what you will about Suge Knight, he funded Death Row Records. He funded the relationship between Snoop Dogg, Tupac, and Dr. Dre, and produced some killer music.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yes, he may have killed, what was his name, Eazy-E? from NWA.
I don't think he did that.
There is a lot of speculation to say that like he got girls with AIDS to bang him so he would die of AIDS. That's some next level chess killer stuff.
I don't
but you know what?
the
more thing I think about it is like, you know what? That is very possible. But at the end of the day, do you credit that man to that level of intelligence, or do you just go, he was a gangster and he was a mean guy that knew how to make money, and maybe people are making some stuff out to be what it's not.
I think with Eazy-E, I feel like I think that's what happens when success is too good for you. You know what I'm saying?
Right, and you're kind of just sleeping with everybody. And that's what I like to think is that like there's no overlording evil of rap music, and it's not like out to get anybody. And
I don't know.
But to this day, I'm still scared. Like, what if you're a new rapper and you want to get in the game? What if there is like some kind of Suge Knight overlord that you have to impress, or some kind of other side of the country affiliation that you have to be merited by?
You talking about gatekeepers or something like that?
Something like that. Yeah, like the game is hard to break into. But with the usage of the internet, now it's easier to get into. But because also with the usages of the internet, it's easier to die and be found where you are. And it's just scary. And it's a scary game. So like those who want to enter it, because knowing the history and where it's going with the potentiality of technology, you have to be a madman. Because people say, oh, it's like a very low percentage of people that make it in music or comedy. No, if anything, I think anyone who can just stick it out long enough will make it.
Right.
It's just the game is getting that much harder for people to stick it out.
Yeah.
But anybody can do it.
It's hard for people to stick it out because, you know, everybody wants things to come fast. You know, that's the era we live in. Like everything got to come quick. But with this, you know, you got to take your time with it, and you got to be consistent, and you got to have that patience, or else, you know, you're not going to get to where you want to get. But I definitely, you know, see where you coming from though. Like it's a hard field to break into. And and as far as like what you were referring to, as far as like, you know, like getting to like that top level,
being able to reach those cliffs.
Yeah,
because somehow like it feels like there's secret gear that only a select few know about, like special mountain climbing gear to the mountain of success in music or comedy or whatever.
Right. And
you have to literally either train. It's almost like anime. Like when you're a hero and you go to the big tournament and you don't win. And they're like, oh, I'm defeated. But then after the tournament, you meet an old man.
Right.
And he's like, I will teach you the Rasengan. I will teach you like this crazy Dragon Ball technique. I will teach you how to use your devil fruit powers. Whichever anime you like, fill in the blanks. The point is, you need some kind of next level teacher to show you the techniques that everybody can access.
Right.
You just don't know that hidden knowledge of success yet. Then you got those skills. Then you absolutely like multiplex into this hero climber that's all of a sudden now at the top of the mountain with breath to spare. And now what heights now will you hook with your chain of climbing to, say, potentially clouds and space, and just keep going? You know what I mean?
Well,
like,
I think one thing artists need to know, or one thing they should know, is that you don't necessarily need the industry to become successful. Like there are a lot of artists.
Skill merits skill. Yeah. And the game will spit and chew out people who aren't good.
Right.
No matter in a lot of fields, you can get by with not being good, but like music, comedy, when it's just you on the stage, people notice.
Yeah.
You can't even steal a joke nowadays like you could in the old days. Not that anyone ever should. And if you do steal a joke, pity on you, son.
Right.
Because you're not good enough to come up with your own material.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. Like, it's just, it's an environment that is also self-cleaning internally 100%. And that's not a constant in a lot of environments.
Yeah.
So to have that is nice because skill will merit skill and stay, and those who aren't will die, obviously, but like die in the environment and not be a comedian or not be a rapper or not be a, I don't know, fill in the blank with whatever you like to watch. Juggler.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just, I think everybody can chase their dreams, and I think it's just society's needs are the reasons people can't. And that's what we should really recognize, that like there should be more musicians everywhere and artists, and that's really what should all our worries be. But because of media and war and things, and it's just not it's not a life you're allowed to live.
You just have to. I feel like it's important for everybody to know who they want to be and like how they want to go about it.
Right.
Not everybody's meant to be a superstar or be like
Well, I don't even mean it to be like famous. I more mean it in the sense of like just do something that doesn't require any like mandates on time. Or like you're not a doctor, no one's gonna die. You're not a lawyer, no one's getting the death penalty if you don't crack the case. You know what I mean? Like there's no deadline of death or despair or something major. It's just that you get to take your time and just do stuff you like. And and art can be like music or like painting or like making stuff or literally anything, any form of external expression via color or contrast or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. If people just worried about that kind of stuff, people wouldn't be upset. Like they would be like, wow, I don't have to worry about being shipped off to war. And all these people that are raised into military families don't have to do that because there are no wars and everybody's friends. So now maybe your mom is an expert like pot maker and she's really good about making like some specific kind of like clay work, and now that's your whole thing and you're really good at it, and you make a mosaic that has like basically the Mona Lisa on it and you're amazing, and it doesn't matter, and like maybe you never get famous, but then some dude discovers it 40 years later and it's named the greatest art piece of the world, and even though you didn't get the credit, your work survives, and that's what's important.
Right.
So like it doesn't matter. I mean, people stress on death. People stress on this kind of stuff. Dude, just do stuff. If you're that worried, don't sit and think. Do stuff.
Absolutely.
If you want to be remembered as a musician, make music. Even if it's terrible, archive it. Keep it. Maybe people will find it years later and call you a secret genius that no one cracked. Sample from it, and then boom, all of a sudden your great-great-grandkids that you didn't even know you'd have are loaded with money, and you've done a good thing in the universe.
Right, yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy and maybe I like to look ahead of times, but like, I just know nothing is wasted. Nothing goes away. If you write even just a little scribble on a paper and throw it away, that piece of scribble is going to be in the existence of the community as garbage for at least a while. So like, just archive stuff. If you don't think anyone cares, someone's going to find it. Maybe years later, your mom's like, oh, you used to draw cartoons. Oh, yeah. Oh, I guess I'll be a cartoon artist. And now you're like drawing for the dude who made Garfield and you're rolling in it. And I know money's not the most important thing, but money allows you to work on other stuff because you don't have to worry about the bull crap that money brings, like financial struggle. You know what I mean? Now you can just worry about being a better dad. Or you can worry about how does your son feel inside and how can I acclimate to that? Like better stuff. Like,
oh my God.
Like, I don't know. That's not a dig at anyone specific. That's just like examples. I guess you could replace mother and daughter, or you could say autistic kid that you wished was not autistic, but then internally you were like, he's really good at puzzles. Autistic God. Jokes are a little hard to pitch on this show.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
If we did it wouldn't be disappointing. What do you mean? So, how is rap? That's a nod to Metalocalypse if you ever watched that. How's the rap thing going for you?
It's going great. I got a show tomorrow at Omega Music, actually.
Where is Omega Music at? Cincinnati, Columbus, Dayton?
Downtown Dayton. It's on West 5th Street.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many people? Is it just you? Do you have are you the headliner? Are you the opener? Are you like...
I'm one of the openers. It's about 10 local artists on the act.
Okay.
On the bill.
Those are good because I don't think the shows could go as long as if it was just like a couple dudes and having that big mash of personalities. While maybe not everyone's a home run, you at least have the sustenance of like, even if he sucked, you can talk about that later and be like, remember how bad that guy was? And like, that's a talking point.
Yeah.
Do you, that's the first burp for anyone at home, keeping the burp counter for today's episode. We like to burp into the mics here because we don't like to pull our punches. So at any point, let them rip.
Oh, God.
Do you like to freestyle?
Yeah, I'm not as good as I used to be at it, but like I can do it though. Like, you know.
Do you practice ever?
Not really. I usually only do it like when I'm with my friends.
Yeah.
Like we in the studio.
Something silly, something to do to warm up maybe.
Yeah.
Do you ever like, this is a hard question but maybe you'll understand because like we're both artists and that's a really liberal term that a lot of people at home are going to be like, oh God. You know, comedians, we sit at home, we write jokes, maybe we practice them or maybe we do improv and like practice through improv. What I'm saying is that there are many different techniques to be good, but I think the best people of both of our fields do multiple forms of practice and multiple forms of execution.
Yeah.
So I guess, like, in your opinion, what are your forms of practice to be a better rapper? And then what are your different forms of execution? Maybe you have multiple different styles of flow, or maybe you have like, I don't know. You know what I mean?
For practice, I would just say consistent working, like writing every day,
right.
you know,
just something,
studying your favorite artists.
Right.
Well, I will put that in the execution box. I say, you know, to learn how to execute, I say study your favorite artists and, you know, try to do what they do in your own way, basically.
Yeah.
But as far as
it's hard to delude from like someone you really like, because then if you spend all day listening to them, it's almost like you're mimicking them in your own voice, and that can be a little dangerous. But I think if people can separate that and just instead look at the techniques and the little tricks that they're doing and notice not the sound that they're doing, but maybe how they're presenting their words or what rhymes are they rhyming, and do those words really rhyme out of context. And that's important, because sometimes you can rhyme words together that don't rhyme if you're good enough at flow. Like example, Biggie, Tupac, Wu-Tang, you know, so-and-so, any old gangster rapper I respect. But that's cool. Do you, I mean, where does the musical archive knowledge come from? Like what was your base for the music? Because everyone like had, at some point it was just concrete of no music, like maybe you were an infant or didn't care about music till your 40s, whatever. It was just a base, and then at some point you start building. What was that first, like, I really started listening to this was my first music? If you want, because honestly, like, rap is such a weird thing to like get into. You have to really like find it almost. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Well, if you want me to be honest, I say my base for rap music was LimeWire.
Okay. No, that's fine.
Yeah.
There's not a person to date, I don't think, that was trying to.
Like LimeWire, that, like, I had College Dropout on there. I had Late Registration. I had T.I.'s album. I had the Carter 2 on there. I had like pretty much all the music from like 2005.
I love when people walk by and wave like it's SNL and they're like, oh my God! And it's like, we are very weird. You're going to regret that wave in a couple seconds when we bring up a cum joke. Sorry to berate on your music rant. At what point do you think like you solidified your style, or do you think you're still developing a style of rap?
I say I'm still developing, because I'm still a young artist. Like I
think 20, older artists too, like Snoop and all them, still develops new stuff. But at some point you have like one or two, because I think good rapper, like if you were like the best rapper, I think you could come out and do like a hard, fast spit like Eminem, where there's like no beat in between. It's just like word, and then maybe you switch it to like a buckshot flow, where it's like Rasta flow, and then maybe like a normal Biggie Brooklyn, laid back, slow, or maybe then like a sped up Tupac, or a weird, you know what I mean? Like there's just so much to do, and there's so many notes, and there's so many different ways you can make sound that like I don't think people should just distinguish themselves to like being just one SoundCloud rapper that is just like, yeah, my body's all home and we just, and I'm like, dude, breathe. What are you doing? Like, come on. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe that's just a little hate, because a lot of people from my hometown thought they were rappers and still think and are trying, and, you know, you love and respect the game, but at some point, you know, I do also think you have to be born with a specific bone in your body to be good at arts, and it's called the funk bone, and that allows you to see the world in just these curved and weird ways, like Jimi Hendrix did in rock and roll, and the way Kurt Cobain did with hard rock, and the way Biggie did with rap in Brooklyn, and the way like Dr. Dre did with like sounds and samplings in LA, and just, I can keep going. I'll just keep sucking the music's penis until it oozes the sweet flow of jazz. I like jazz. You like jazz?
Yeah, I like jazz.
I saw a meme the other day, and I hate to steal credit, but this was just really funny. You know when they say smooth jazz, does that imply that there is like rough jazz?
I don't think so.
Like they're like, ooh, I love smooth jazz, and the dude like cuts in, he's like, well, I like my jazz rough, and it's just like metal. It's like, I don't even know. It's just like the saxophone is just spewing metal and fire, and it's like it's just hardcore, and it's like, whoa.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I don't think I'm crazy enough or do enough acid to picture that one, Brighton. we talk a lot of crap on the show, but at the end of the day, it is, on a Thursday from 8 to 9:30. So really, if you're listening at home and you dispute these things, you can always message into the DJ and tell us how big of an idiots we are, or you can listen to something else and do more productive. It's a Thursday night. What are you doing listening to two weirdos talk about gangster rap? Which, by the way, one of us is a white-looking, I would say, Hebrew? I don't know. I like my hair. Do you like long hair? You have kind of longish hair.
Yeah, it's getting longer.
It's getting long. I like long hair. I don't think you should cut it. I think you should get it, like, super long. I think the best rappers, like, have some kind of just, like, look to them. To where, like, even if it's, like, they don't have a lot going on, that's their style, is that they just aren't very flashy. And, like, and I hate to say this because this is a little culture thing, but like you can grow specific styles of hair that I cannot.
Right.
To quote my friend Tyler, who was the ex marketing director here, Tyler, shout out.
Yeah.
He's probably not listening. He told me to my face, Brighton, your hair is not nappy enough to pull off cornrows. So that's already a style of hair that you can access that I can't because I just can't for some reason. It's just curly. It's just big and fluffy, and it's not going to happen.
I mean, I've seen, white
dudes pull it off sometimes. It's hard.
Only a select few, though. It ain't been a lot, but a select few. It hasn't been a lot.
It's not a style anyone's pulling off. Like, even if you're famous and you do it as a white guy, people are going to speak up and be like,
oh, of course.
Change it back.
Of course, yeah.
Do you ever think you could pull off being bald?
If I get diesel, yes.
What does that mean?
If I get big, like,
I
gotta be swole.
Okay.
If I'm gonna go bald, I gotta be swole. I can't be skinny.
Do you think
that
matters for some reason? Like your head should be an extension of your muscles?
I mean, it's just like fits better, like a skinny bald dude. Like ain't nobody, sweating that.
If anything, they're thinking maybe he's like a chemo patient, and they're like, "What's going on in his life? I feel bad." Then you see the swole guy, and it's like, well, they're not even worried about the hair. They're like, "Well, he looks like he works out."
That's just how me and one of my coworkers.
That's kind of logical. That actually is like a very
before.
logical way to think about that. It's like, well, if I was gonna be bald and I hadn't to worry about my hair, I guess I would just work out more and just make it look correct or something. Like maybe my head's always flexing and I just look impressive or something. Maybe I'll build up my neck size and I'll just be thicker.
Yeah.
I like older stuff, but I'm not opposed to new music. Do you have any like newer rappers that you enjoy over some older ones? Because I think the older ones are kind of unbeatable. But then at some point, isn't it kind of unfair to always hold the old stuff to an unbeatable status? At some point, somebody's got to at least match that skill.
It is unfair, but I'll tell you what, though, to these new kids, this old stuff is not unbeatable. Like, a lot of these kids don't think that, Pac is better than Lil Wayne. And, somebody who love 90s rap, I mean, they'll tell you, the polar opposite. But really, I mean, it don't matter to me because at the end of the day, it's all subjective anyway. Feel me? So
and at the end of the day, you know what's also nice to think about? It's all these people talking mad trash, debating, thinking logically, coming up with conclusions and hypotheses and all this stuff going back and forth over music.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
It's not war. It's not drugs. It's not hurting anybody.
Right.
It's not causing any problems. It's literally bringing culture together.
Yeah.
And it's secretly bringing like all these different races like on the same terms, because now if you're not talking about like racist remark, now it's saying he could never play a guitar solo better than you know what I mean? Like now your debates are about different issues, and honestly, if you're debating about the culture and arts and stuff like that, that's beautiful to me. Even if it's just stupid rap debates, like okay, that's fine. Like at least you're not like, I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of stuff people are worrying about nowadays, and there's just stuff we shouldn't, like everything, and we should switch gears and maybe care about, like, I don't know. Let's put, like, I know Biggie Smalls is being introduced into the Hall of Fame, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
As he should. But there's also some other people that probably should be in there before, because I'm just going to be that guy to say it. There's a lot of white people in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and there's a lot of cool black people that deserve to be in there too. I know Jimi Hendrix is already in there, but there's a lot of really stellar people of color throughout all time. Yeah.
Like, if anything, if I had to pick, like, let me think on that one, because I have a couple rock artists that I think could be in it now.
Who's not in it? Who ain't in it right now?
I think there are Tupac's not in it. I don't think.
Nah, he is. I thought he was.
Are you 100%?
Yeah, I thought it was recent. I thought he got in like
he may have gotten in
ago.
on the 2016 one.
Yeah, I thought it was like 2017, something like that.
Something like that. I may have. Anyone at home that actually cares, message in and give us the answer because we're too lazy to Google it ourselves before our first culture shock. But I don't know. I just like there's so much good music in the world, and like I'm not trying to be that guy, but like it's easier to get spotlights if you're white in America. It just is. And I don't know why we're still at that point. But at some point we're going to conquer it. But sadly, it's not today.
Yeah.
And a lot of those people in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame are white. And yeah, they were good music. And yeah, they have skill and they deserve to be there. But they had that chance to be there because like they were white. And it was a little easier for them to work on it. Like Biggie said, you know, I had to deal drugs to fund the rap career.
Yeah.
That's... Alan Jackson didn't have to trap meth under bridges in Florida to sing about boot scoot and boogies and 9/11 memorial songs. You know what I mean? Like, it's a different play field.
Right.
And if anything, black people are working harder for it. So we should see more of them there instead. It's just aggravating because, like... yes, everybody deserves there. But you know what? Some people, as of right now, are working harder because of the disadvantages they have to live with. And if anything, they should get more merit, and they're not. So I guess on a 8:25 on a Thursday, a white kid's going to give you that. And then I hope it counts. I don't know. Maybe I'm just crazy, or maybe I'm overstepping my bounds. But I just have a lot of brothers that are black and of every color and every race and every language they can speak. And it just hurts my heart to think that because of the color they are at a disadvantage in parts of the world.
Yeah.
That's freaky to me. That's what blows me away. Like, why does that matter? It doesn't. It doesn't.
Yeah, sad, but that's just how it is, unfortunately.
We spiraled into a pro-race rant again. This always feels like an acid trip that went wrong. Pac was inducted in 2017. This is Kellan. Thank you, Kellan. Shout out.
Okay.
Kellan is going to be a new show on Mondays. Shout out to the Ginger. He's going to do a sports broadcast show on Monday mornings, I guess, if you're into that.
Oh, okay.
I don't really like sports as much, even though my older brothers play professional baseball, and my sister just got a full ride to UC for women's golf, which is cool.
Oh, congrats. That's what's up.
Yeah, so at least all the other siblings are doing well, and then there's Brighton doing that show that sucks. It's so frustrating because I don't know. Comedy's one of those things. Like, music's one of those things that, like, even if you don't know you're good, you can kind of tell by the notes and the sound you're making, and you're like, at the end of the day, you could really just listen to it and be like, this is gonna make my head move, or this is making my feet move, and I don't have to try. But comedy's one of those things that, like, you don't know if it's funny. You have no idea. You're pitching jokes to yourself over and over, making correction. Dude, the first joke you could have wrote of that series of corrections of jokes could have been the perfect one, and then by the end of it, it's now not even as funny. Like, you know what I mean? Like, at what point are you just... when does it just bleed out of you? I
mean, it's no different from writing music. Like, you write what you feel like is good to you, and you go with it.
I will say
comedy,
it's the same for like the development process, but I would say comedy has it harder for like the testing and evaluating process. Because music, it's kind of easier to get music out there, songs, Spotify, all this stuff, but it's kind of hard to have people listen to like a 20-minute set of you doing stand-up, or like hear a couple jokes and give you feedback, or like get a big audience and hear that real laughter, and you know what I mean, like testing out that stuff. Like, it's harder to hear.
It ain't hard to hear if it's funny though, or if it's good. Like it's hard to hear 2 minutes.
That I argue on, because there are an incredible amount of comedians in the Oregon District, Dayton, Columbus, Cincinnati that are killer funny that have never been discovered or heard of, just because how hard it is to get people in the door at the clubs. But then that's also a piece of me thinking those comics aren't being smart enough in utilizing the internet, utilizing other tools about the world to get yourself out there. And plus, comedy's such a versatile tool that like I try to flex it as many different ways as I can. I flex it into radio and audio and do this show. I flex it into real world stand-up comedy where it's physical and I'm there telling the stories on the stage. Maybe one day it'll be squished into the acting thing and you'll do movies or whatever. And it's just such a versatile skill that like music, you can use it in so many different ways. Like if you're good at music, you're good at like making jingles for commercials, and you're good at hearing stuff, and you're good at just I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what? Let's play a button because we've ranted on for a minute. Ladies and gentlemen, please enjoy What is Pleasure?
Sometimes the things that give you pleasure could hurt you. Like I got hurt real bad from candy.
Hurt by candy.
I tried a hard lollipop.
The best part of the lollipop is a stick. You suck and suck and suck, and you get pleasure.
Hippie Joel, what's the secret to happiness? I can't seem to find it myself. Please.
I brought with me a mystical root that will help you reach that level of serenity and peace. It will free you in a fertile soil of ecstasy.
Just like a cow bathroom.
Unleash your mind. Let it flow from the feet to the top of your head. You will release that pressure, that pain. You will be filled with unbelievable pleasure.
Feels like my entire soul's on fire.
That means the negatives are releasing from your body. Let it flow.
Feels like my entire soul's on fire.
Don't pucker.
Feels like my soul's on fire. Feels like my soul's on fire. Feels like my soul's on fire.
Yeah, Daddy. Yeah, Daddy. Go with it.
Joy. Feels like my house on fire.
Joy.
I can't find my teeth. Ah! Get out of here, brown man! Ah! Joy! Ah! I can't find my teeth.
Here we go. Did you need a little lubricant,
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. That was What is Pleasure. If you needed to know what the definition of pleasure was or what it was in its core element, it's a guy giving an interview and accidentally eating a very trippy root and then having a very bad trip with a hippie that I'm pretty sure raped him in that, that sound file. So please, ladies and gentlemen, this marks our 30-minute mark for anyone that's actually listening and didn't scare off by that. Today we're going to do a different kind of culture shock. It's not a song that you probably have heard, so this is probably new to every single person, even if you've watched the anime. This is a song I've pulled from a anime that was created by an almost completely African-American staff, including voice actors, animators, and all, excluding the white people like Mark Hamill that voiced the villain for it, which is kind of crazy because he voiced the Joker and played, Luke Skywalker and, all this crazy stuff. So in that spirit, I thought I would pick a song off that album because I absolutely love Afro Samurai, and it is one of the best little stories ever told. Have you seen Afro Samurai?
I have.
It's hardcore, isn't it? Oh my goodness. Oh, then I hope you love this. Ladies and gentlemen, for everyone at home then, please enjoy Blood Thicker Than Mud, Family Affair by Stone Mecca Sly something, because I can't see the rest of his name on the track, and of course, the RZA. So please enjoy, everybody home.
It's a family affair, no calamity there. It's humanity share, who's the rightful heir?
With sword style so retarded, it leave enemies dearly departed. And we nearly cold-hearted, but down for the fam. Mad rivers of blood that started pouring on land. This be a warrior's plan without a friend in the world. They fight you in the end, but I'm loving my girl, cause she fight for the win. We sport a sinister grin when blowing smoke in the wind, committing menacing sins, all in the name of the kin. With pinpoint precision in the throat, it's wild. Cold razor sharp style again, we killing them down. Stay defending on 10, never depending on men. Living the samurai code from 100 on in. Man. We keep blazing for sharper than Hatari Hanzo. And be the last man standing after the last blow. Slicing one, swiping like a chef with a ginsu. We swarm like the woo when the clan to come blitz you. A wise samurai whose alibis is high. Humble as a butterfly, but a killer inside. Strong family ties and keep a quality pride. Solidly ride to each other, honestly we can fight. And tune on the attack, platoon up from the back. With room taking no slack, we zoom in the format. Typhoons, kabooms, and full moons when we combat. Killers for contract, with ninjas and all that. And if you ain't family, we barely gon' interact. Lovers for kinfolk, our bond is a killer's pack. We strike too quickly for the enemies to react. Blood thick as mud and the heart is a roadmap.
When the child grows up to be somebody just a little, and the mother child grows up to be the one who just loves mother. Both of them, you see it's in the blood. Those kids good love. Blood's thicker than the mud. It's family. Blood's thicker than the mud. Way thicker than the mud. When you wind up, making you
You have crossed the line with me. I've had guys throw barbecues at me. They broke the windows out of my car. They cursed and sworn at me. But the bottom line is I ain't shook. Cause if the right hook comes out, crazy motherfuckers like you get knocked out. Don't be looking me in the eyes, boy. I ain't got no candy for you. No candy. Except for the right hook.
Let's get back to the show before one of you at home catch one of these crazy right hooks, you crazy motherfucker.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed the first Culture Shock. It was Blood Thicker Than Mud with a Family Affair interlude. I think that interlude of that highlight, it's a family affair. I mean, that's hard. I always love like acapella singers, jazz singers, high-pitched singers, because those are notes I can't reach with my own vocal cords. Mm-hmm. So it's just that much more impressive to see someone physically be able to do so. Do you have any kind of like favorite singers, like kind of not rap variety, maybe?
Yeah, I like Anne Marie a lot.
That's a good answer.
I like Mary J. Blige.
Okay.
Who else? I like
Tracy Chapman.
Oh, okay.
I'm really into Tracy Chapman. Like, she's, to my opinion, one of the best guitar players ever.
Oh, word.
Because she could, I mean, just like the boom, boom, bum, boom, bum, boom, give me my razor. Ow. Like, I can't do the notes, and it sounded like a girl was having the worst orgasm of her life there.
Oh, God.
But if it was good, it wouldn't be disappointing, ladies and gentlemen. And just to make sure you know.
Hey, Fatso, we got your favorite thing. Disappointment.
Just to make sure you remembered, it's the Disappointing Radio Show, and if it wasn't disappointing, then why are you listening?
Right.
It is 8:30. We've passed the first Culture Shock. At 9, we will do the second and maybe an outro one if you boys and girls are good at home. We did have one person message in, Afro Samurai for the win. Again, I think that was Kellan. You crazy ginger, go home. Childish Gambino Bonfire was just requested, and then Sweatpants immediately after that. So apparently we've got some Childish Gambino fans at home. Apparently not fans of the RZA's Blood Thicker Than Mud. But you know what? I still liked it, and I don't care what you say, people at home. I don't care that my penis isn't as big, but we weren't even talking about that. In other news, did you see that Kodak Black got 4 years?
Yeah, I seen that.
How do you feel about that?
I think it's unfortunate, man, but I mean, hopefully he uses that time to, get better, smarten up, and, make better decisions, I guess.
I mean, in my opinion, and this is going to raise some question at home because even Abby Mrs. Disappointment likes Kodak Black. I'm not a fan of Kodak Black's. Like, I don't care how he sounds. He's been saying some disrespectful. Like, it's one thing to not. You don't have to like someone's music, but if you start disrespecting them, that's a difference. Like, and here's the example I give. He was quoted to say that, like, Tupac and Biggie ain't nothing. Like, I'm going to be so much bigger. They are going to be forgotten and all that. And I'm like, dude, first of all, stop. You are upsetting not only the West Coast, but the East Coast with those sentences. It does not matter that you're a Mississippi rapper from the South or from Florida. I could care less. The point I'm trying to make is, someone said free Kodak. Never. He has to be. You can't do bad things and not. I don't. It was Mrs. Disappointment. Yeah, I guess I can't fight her on that one, or I won't get sex. But I don't know. Like, he literally like mimicked one of Biggie Smalls' album covers for his own.
Oh yeah, I see
so
that.
Like, how do you even say that? Like, you're gonna say he's not crap, but then you needed to mooch off his identity for yourself. I mean, Kodak at some point.
Promotion.
I'll tell you what it is. It's upsetting because I'm not gonna sit there and listen to his music now because if anything, I'm gonna resent him because if you approach those idols with respect and say I don't like them, but other people do, and in my goal, I'm gonna be bigger than them. Okay, now you've really enticed me because I'm like, you think you're gonna be better than them and you don't like them. I would love to hear what you think you sound like, which is gold, because maybe it is, and maybe it's just a whole new alien form of rap that we've never heard, and it's so new and it's crazy, and you're like, wow.
I don't agree with everything Kodak says or whatever, but I do like the music.
What did he do?
He
like, what was his, like, for anyone at home that's listening, because people are kind of trickling in now.
I thought
what did Kodak Black do to get arrested? I have no idea.
I think it was a weapon charge, but I think he still has a rape case pending too, though.
Smuggling, that's right.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not gonna say this and hopefully get shot. Kodak. Someone said Kodak Black is going to be Kodak Fat in prison.
Oh, God.
Which I can see that. But no. I think prison changes rappers. And I think the best example of that is Tupac. He went in one guy and came out somebody else. Like everybody says, when Tupac came out of prison, just the style was different. The confidence was new. The abrasiveness. Like, before that, he was just Biggie's, like, skinny friend that, yeah, he was rapper, of course, and they love making music together, but he didn't have that, like, F you attitude. Prison gave him that. So now with 6ix9ine trying to come out, I'm a little interested, because I hated everything he did before. I'm gonna be upfront with that. I'm not a 6ix9ine fan, but I would be interested to see what new stuff and new perspectives he has on life and what that comes out as in music through his experiences in prison, because prison is a very real situation. And I hate to say this, but we need famous people like that to go through that and tell us about the system, because that will only make the system better, because that's actually going to expose it for, like, the fraudulent, behavior that goes on in our judicial system, especially towards people of color. Like, people need to go through that and then talk about that.
I'll tell you what, though, man, 6ix9ine can't come out and be on no tough guy stuff. He didn't already lost the streets, man. He told. That's it. Like he broke the code. Like, he can't be on no tough
So you
guy.
think no one's really gonna accept him?
Nobody. I mean, I ain't gonna say nobody gonna accept him, but ain't nobody finna take him serious.
Right.
Like he has to come out, make pop music. That's it. He can't make no street type sounding.
That's a good. Maybe
he can't do that.
Maybe rap is behind him now, and that's the only direction lost. Because and this sucks to hear, but he's also has options. Like, he's 6ix9ine. People know his face. He's got face tattoos. He's done the whole thing. Like, he's not gonna not have work. And if anything, if it spirals down that way, maybe he'll just be one of those rappers that ends up being like a rap coach for money out of, like, LA in his, like, 50s, and now he has a gut and no hair. Or maybe, like, it's like only on the sides and it's still rainbow colored, but now there's, like, a comb over of, like, a few red and purple hairs, like, on the top, and it looks disgusting. And he's racking up not rape charges, but definitely rape allegations, because he just looks like a pedophile. That's the other thing. I don't know how, and I'm not trying to upset anyone at home that has been raped, because it happens, but I don't think just because you have a rape charge doesn't mean, like, people should discredit you. Especially, like, Tupac had one.
What you mean?
Like, Tupac had a rape charge.
Pac ain't do it, though. Like,
but that's what I'm saying. Like,
that.
how do we know really, like, all these people that get them actually do it? And I understand there's evidence, like the Cosby case, there was evidence, and like there is evidence sometimes, but a lot of the time there's not evidence. And that's what's freaky to me. And even Tupac said it best, like when his first rape allegation came out, they were like, he was like, the whole story was like, it was Tupac and a couple other men forcibly held down this woman. And Tupac's like, why did their names not get brought up? Why do their faces not get described?
Because
I'm
Pac.
famous?
Yeah, because
and he
Pac.
said that, but he was like, but that's my point, is that it's fake because I'm Pac. And that's what you have to realize, that it's an easy story to craft because nobody cares about the other guys because Tupac's there.
Yeah, I mean, you're the big name. Like, I mean, you take the fall because you are the most notable person. So, I mean, he was the person that, you know, everybody was out to get until they finally got him, you know?
Yeah.
So, that's
and
just
I
how
hate
it goes.
that because you shouldn't have to get got to be left alone, if that makes sense. Because once you're got, people just, for some reason, you're completely off the radar.
Well, Pac didn't get got till September 7th, 1996. Like, people was out to get him for a long, like, people was scared of him and you know, the type of agenda that he was, you know, bringing to the rap game. Like, man, like, in my opinion, it runs so deep with Pac.
Oh, there's
like,
so much stuff there.
It runs
he
so
was shaking.
deep.
Him and Biggie shook each side of the country exponentially. Like, and here's the other thing. I'd like to think that they secretly were friends the whole time through all of it.
Nah, they weren't.
And I know it wasn't the case because of all the interviews Biggie did, and you could hear the heartbreak in his speech where he was like,
he was upset when Pac died.
oh my God, he was over. I mean, he was like, I didn't bail him out because I didn't think I had to. I thought there were a lot of other people in his life with money that could take care of that because, again, I also have stuff to do, my own albums, my own wife, my own kid issues. You know what I mean? Like,
why would Biggie bail him out though? Like
they were boys, and I understand that they were the realest of closeness that you could be at that time before the incident happened of him getting shot in the same building, and then that filling Tupac's head with conspiracy theories that Biggie set him up to do it, and that's just ludicrous. I mean, I understand where his fear comes from because we fear our friends the most because they are the closest we allow to our inner circle, and they are the closest to our jugulars, and we have to fear them because of that, because we give them that trust, but trust is a double-sided coin, ladies and gentlemen. So I don't know. It just makes me sad because in the end, I know they didn't reconcile, and nobody knows what happens in the afterlife, and maybe they never got a chance to. But as I say that, their feud will forever be engraved in those 1 to 2 albums from each of them. I would say Ready to Die and Life After Death. And then for Pac, really just All Eyes on Me. That whole album does its justice. You can go into the other ones, and he does talk crap about Biggie in the other ones, but that album is just so big and so much work was put into it that was really his just definitive one that you could just reference a lot.
I think I like Life After Death more than Ready to Die.
I don't. I can't agree with you. Ready to Die, to me, I literally like got it on vinyl for my birthday from my girlfriend as the best present because Ready to Die is an absolute masterpiece. There is no filler, and there's not any filler in my opinion on Life After Death, but some of the songs on Life After Death aren't really completely his songs because they were made and finished after he died due to like you having to only use tracks and samples that they had before he died, and then obviously, like, if you didn't use it the first time, well, what if it wasn't the best work? And it's still good, but you definitely hear, like, this could have been better.
No, the whole album was done before Big died, I thought.
Not all of it. All of it. They produced most of it, to my knowledge, and then I think he got, like, capped, like...
He died in March, and the album
came
out in May.
I know a lot of the third album was samples. And
Yeah,
the Life After
third
Death
album
was a
was
lot
sampled.
less sampling, but there was some. Like, I think it was like... If I
there-
had to put a guess on it percentage-wise, I'd say like 80 to 85% of the songs are legit on Life After Death.
Okay,
and that
legit.
15% margin is like, oh, you can kind of hear the trickling in of
That's still
the
too
effect
big.
of his death. I'd say 15% is fair.
I say
Because
1
on
to
the third
2%.
album,
I
it's
say
definitely
1
like
to 2.
50-50 at least. Like, you could hear a lot of the usage of other artists in place of not having as many lyrics from Biggie due to his absence in life. But even with just a few words, you can craft a beat around that because of the skill that bled from his teeth.
I like Life After Death more because that was when Biggie like released. I feel like on that album, like Biggie, like I think he mastered his style.
I can't.
Like,
I understand where you're coming from with that, but
the rapping was better on Life After Death. You can't deny that.
It was harder because, and I can't even say the full name of the song, but Nibba's Bleed is one of the best stories I've ever heard from any song. It's, I mean, literally how it starts out with like the background noise of the gunshots, the rain, the suitcases, every word they gave just a little sound effect, and it's just a perfect story. And it's just like, this is beautiful, but like, and I this is obviously contrary to your belief, but like I could never believe Ready to Die is not his best album, only because it contains Juicy, Respect, The What, Who Shot Ya, and I know Who Shot Ya's on the other albums, but like Who Shot Ya came out first on that one,
yeah.
and like I mean I could keep going. Like what are the others? Machine Gun Funk. I'm Just Playing, the underline song where it adds like all the definitive how he wants to bang the R&B singers. I mean, that album to me is an absolute masterpiece. Me and my friend Nolan literally talk about it every single time we hang out, and we're like, we literally at one point every day we'll look at each other and be like, it's the best thing we've ever heard. Like, it's the best album I've ever heard. And there's a reason it was there's not a lot of albums that get that title, because there's a couple Nirvana albums that I think are masterpieces, and there's also a couple other albums from other artists I think are masterpieces. But Ready to Die, the way, like the intro of him coming out of the womb, the suicidal thoughts interlude, like it's literally everything. It's him being so born, becoming a drug dealer, all the stuff he went through in high school, becoming friends with Pac, the fallout of Pac, having kids, his wife dying in the song Me and My B Word. Can't say it, obviously. That's what kills me. Those songs are masterpieces, and we can't even say the name of the songs on radio. That's messed up, because those songs deserve to be played because they are works of art. And I will never think different. But then again, I am a white kid, and when a lot of people of color hear me ranting about rap, they're like, what is this? Who took perks today, and who was off his chair?
I don't know. I guess to me, like, the thing about Life After Death is I can play it in more like places.
I will say Life After Death between Ready to Die is definitely a harder album, and it definitely like goes more into the gritty, but there's just something about the complete flow of Ready to Die. It's just a perfect album.
Ready to Die is more raw, but Life After Death is a lot more polished. Like you can tell in the production, like the way Biggie sounds.
Lots of background stuff.
And it's just
it's dope. And in this debate, to play on my side, Method Man is not on Life After Death, but Method Man is on Ready to Die in the What. And that to me matters, because the Wu-Tang Clan is like, to me, the epitome of rap.
Method Man smoked Biggie on that song. I'm sorry. He smoked him. He got him.
I could sing you every word of it and not miss a beat. That is one of my favorite absolute songs on the album. To me, the What or Who Shot Ya are the best songs on the album. I've heard Juicy is the best song. I've heard Respect. I've heard...
My favorite is One More Chance.
Oh, that's a good one too.
Favorite.
Nolan, one of my best friends, he thinks Everyday Struggle or Me and My...
Oh, yeah.
Those are the two. Because he's like, the way he describes the relationship with the woman, I'm just like, dude, it's a good song, but like, it doesn't beat Who Shot Ya. Or it doesn't beat like... But then that's the thing. They're so good, they all are equal in my mind.
Yeah.
But you're allowed to have those fun debates over just one album of a dude that got shot way too soon, because now we don't get to see the future work. Right. In my head, if they were both still alive, we would see some crazy, because Tupac being alive would just push other rappers to want to do stuff.
Right.
So maybe Dr. Dre doesn't retire, does an album with him and Snoop. That would be crazy. Biggie does a big, giant, half Biggie, Brooklyn, half Wu-Tang style, Shaolin style album, and the world goes crazy with music. But we don't get to have that because some stupid idiots took music too seriously.
Hate to see it.
Hate to see it. Absolutely hate to see it. And the other thing I hate to see is when people discredit their deaths like they were nothing. Like, it's just two black rappers. Why do we care? First of all, I would argue that they are Martin Luther's, each of their own, Malcolm X's, if you either or, of music epiphany for their culture.
Music epiphany. Okay.
They literally brought inner slums of Brooklyn, LA, Compton, everyone. I mean, all those rappers pulled together those communities that were built there by white people to suffer, and found that brotherhood through music. And now they realize who the bad guy is. And I'm sorry, everybody at home, it's white people. We're the bad guy. We deserve that title. There's a reason most villains in movies are either from Swedish or Germany. They're always white. All right? I don't know how much more we need to say it. Get better.
He really went there.
I'm just saying, like, black people aren't the villains of the world. They're the sufferers.
Wow.
And we should say sorry. And I say sorry all the time, but not enough people say sorry, or at least recognize the suffrage. But you know what? Brighton Jones does. So I hope that matters to anyone that's wasting their Thursday with us. This show's a lot of fun, but it takes me places. It takes a lot of energy out of me. How's your day been? Let's make this like a real interview.
It's been a pretty good day. I can't complain too much, you know.
I had a flat tire today, and it took me 4 hours to change it. Can you believe that?
4 hours?
I went to the place, and I was like, can you please change my tire? They're like, yeah, man, hour wait. I'm like, cool. Hour and a half goes by, and I'm like, hey, man, where's that wait? And he goes, you've only been here half an hour. And I'm like, well, that's not right. He goes, give it another. So I'm now there for like 3.5 hours. They finally take my car at 3.5 hour mark, and I'm like, they haven't even started working. I am going to blow my brains all over this tire discounters, and that will be the headline for Dayton Stories. It's like, local Wright State teen commits suicide because tire change was just too slow. More at 7. Back to Becky with puppies and football.
Oh, God.
Yeah, just whitewash my death over some news. I don't know. Do you party? That's a hard question, but I like to ask that people now because I'm 21.
No, not a whole lot.
Okay.
Not really.
Do you think maybe, and this is maybe just being pretentious, but I do think Suge Knight was a little bit right when he said people in rap booths should have to go through some kind of struggle, emotional tear, some kind of like street knowledge. Maybe you're a gangbanger. Maybe you're a drug dealer. Maybe you're this. Maybe you're that. Maybe you do some hardcore bad stuff. Or maybe you do some just bad stuff that's not bad to anybody else. Like maybe you take drugs, or maybe you do whatever. Not that we condone taking drugs, but maybe you go through some struggle, internal or external, that you can then inscribe in word and song to the mass public because you did that real world thing, and they can really relate to that real world connection.
Well, I mean, everybody goes through some type of internal struggle. I don't care who you are or where you're from. I don't care if you're from the hood. I don't care if you're from the suburbs. Like, everybody deals with stuff internally.
Right.
I mean, you look at somebody like Drake. Like, Drake ain't from the hood, but he talks a lot about his struggles, you know?
Yeah.
Like, so, I mean, I feel like, if you're going to do music, like, I mean, talk about real life experiences. Like don't sell drugs just so you can rap about selling drugs is what I'm saying.
Right. Like, Jay-Z didn't sell drugs so he could talk about it. But
right.
Jay-Z was trapping in New York, selling drugs. And if anything, do you know the story of Jay-Z?
Yeah.
How he
my favorite rapper.
quit rapping to go back to selling drugs because
Yeah.
he wasn't making any money. And then all of his friends had to like beg him because they were like, dude, you're good. And I know it's hard for you to see that because I know you're good, but like the money will come. Just keep doing it.
Right.
And that's what I tell everybody. Just keep doing it. Like we talked about earlier. Like if you just stay in it, you'll survive, I think.
It's different when you're from the streets, though.
That is true, though.
Like,
because and again, we talked about this earlier. The starting points of those races are not as easy.
Right.
Like a white kid maybe asked for some sound equipment for his birthday because he has multiple living grandparents and he gets all that stuff. Black kid from the slums of New York asks for it and maybe he gets like a harmonica, like a totally different starting point. I'm not trying to say everyone in the slums is poor, but there are people that are starting off with a disadvantage, it's harder for them to break into that skill set in that group because of that.
Yeah, I'll say everybody's starting point is different. And I remember when Drake dropped Started from the Bottom, and everybody had their draws in a bunch because they like, you didn't start from the bottom. Well, I mean,
kind of did, really. He started as just a.
That's what I'm saying. Like, everybody has a starting point.
Yeah, I was like, just because he didn't start in slums, and he even said that he goes, I didn't grow there, but I had to go there because I had some that knew there.
Yeah,
like that's clever because you saw that struggle
exactly.
And like, I'm not black, but I understand the epiphany of the pain they feel because I was almost pulled over with my older brother Amir driving the car because the cop thought it was stolen because it was Amir and he was black. And then when I leaned up, he was like, oh, and he drove off. He had his lights on. We were gonna get pulled over. And that's one of the most, I mean, I'm ranting. You let me race rant again. You gotta put me in check so I can stop doing that. Listen, we're gonna take a itty bitty teeny weeny yellow polka dot bikini break. That was the way to transition to that, I guess. We will take it. We will be back very, very quickly. Before we do, though, do you want to plug anything? This is the halfway point of the show, and I think this is when people, if anyone's going to really listen to hear something, you should, really try to hear it. I like when people stop by and they wave, and they're always like, oh man, this is special. And it's like, you'll never hear this instance of a sentence on my Spotify because you are not having the energy to actually care, because I don't also have the energy to remind you to listen. But yeah, I mean, you said you had a show tomorrow, but like, do you have any social media stuff maybe?
Yeah,
because the show's not over. We still have another, like, this is the halfway point essentially of the show, but I just wanted to
yes, check out my website, www.dknightisreal.com. On Instagram, I'm DKnightIsReal. Twitter, DKnight937.
You can also find them in my stuff. I follow him, and we're friends on stuff. So if you need to find him that way, if you enjoyed the episode so far and you're listening, maybe at home, give him a follow his rap career, help the guy out. It's all community stuff, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So we'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll talk for a second, and then we'll play our second culture shock. We'll keep going with the show, and hopefully ruin more people's lives along the way. Enjoy.
Hi, I'm your host, Smokey Cole Bear, filling in for Smokey because after 75 years of...
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Turns out there's much more to say. Nearly 90% of wildfires are caused by us humans being careless, dumping our used barbecue coals willy-nilly. Guess the song was wrong. We did start the fire. That's why I respect Mother Nature and her trees, whether coniferous or new car scented. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
You are listening to WWSU 106.9 FM, Fairborn, Dayton, Dayton's right choice.
But you have to understand that as far as Grandpa's concerned, you're both pieces of cuckoo. Yeah, I can prove it mathematically. Actually, let me grab my whiteboard.
You are listening to WWSU 106.9 FM, Dayton's right choice. Your grandpa listened to us when we first became cool.
Man, I hate commercials. Don't even say the C word to me. Where that loser Brighton at? Knowing B? He probably out there boxing birds and shiz. Let's get back to it before anyone tunes out. You think anybody's still listening to this crap? You tripping, big dog.
And like I said, ladies and gentlemen, we are back from commercial. If anyone is actually still listening, which I doubt you are, because this is a disappointing radio show. And if you were, why would you be? We were talking about rap. We were talking about stuff. He was plugging stuff. We're back. There was a weird silence break. I hope I can edit that in post. Like I said, if we did it correct and it sounded perfect at least once, then we would literally have to stop doing the show because we're no longer disappointing and we have lost the essence of awful. If it's not upsetting my parents, why do it at all? I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know. Are your parents like cool with you being a rapper?
Yeah.
Mine aren't.
Why not?
And they don't really like comedy. Well, I mean, I guess they do. I don't know. That's such a hard sentence. Just like your parents don't really laugh, and it's like, well, they do, but not at me. No, they just think I can do a lot more. But like at some point, don't I get to say like what my heart wants to do?
Yeah,
I mean, at some point, I'm sure you asked yourself, and you were like, what do I want to do in my life? It's like I want to do music. Like this is what does your heartbeat drum bounce your steps to, sir?
They weren't okay with it at first until I showed them that I was really about it. Right. And they got behind it.
See, I'm still trying to show them that I'm really about it, and they're still resenting it, heavily hoping that maybe this is like one really long acid trip that I'll snap out of and be like, oh, I want to go back to taxes and be boring white people stuff. Like, I love sour cream and mayo. Ugh. I hate both of those, and just that sentence made me like curdle inside of. Ugh. Do you have like a favorite go-to food at like cookout like barbecues kind of stuff? Like maybe you're in search of like when I go to like family cookout stuff, I immediately seek out like macaroni.
Oh, of course,
because like macaroni is one of those things that people can like kind of always do different homemade. Man. Do you have like a go-to like? Oh, I hope someone's making this.
This is what I'm gonna say. You can't have no bomb cookout if you ain't got no bomb mac and cheese. If you ain't got no good burgers. If you ain't got no good ribs.
Although burgers are like a Vietnam flashback word for me because my ex-roommates used to make hamburgers, and I'm not kidding by this, almost every single day of their lives. Like, and you think you're laughing. I lived it whole year, every single day. Burger meat smell in the air again. What do I wake up to? Burger meat smell again. What's tomorrow? I think I'm gonna kill myself. Burger meat smell again. Like, like I can't. I don't know. I don't name names because I try to. That's me being nice. it's my show. I can say whatever I want, and that's what people don't understand is that I can do whatever I want, and me not saying your names is the nice gesture. So if you're ever butthurt anyone at home because I've told a story about you, probably know that if I used your real name, then it's actual disrespect. If I didn't use your real name, you better check yourself before you wreck yourself. I don't know. Before we rant and do some rapping, because I told my guest today that we were going to rap at some point, freestyling or some variation of that, I will play our second culture shock for the day. Not to be that dude, but it is off the same album. It happens, but sometimes, some artists hit some balls so hard out of the park that they circle the globe multiple times, and it's really like a multiple home run. If you can picture that one, like it's a Superman style hit where it keeps going. Like just because you found one song on the album you like doesn't mean you shouldn't keep going through because you may find other stuff you like. That's why I also don't like when people are like, I don't want to listen to new stuff. What a ludicrous sentence that is. What do you mean you don't want new things? That's like saying you want to be old and 80 and only like butter noodles forever. I would kill myself. So before we rant into like more jokes, I guess, about white people, ladies and gentlemen, please enjoy by Stone Mecca, Radig Something, and the RZA, Girl Samurai Lullaby.
Silly little girl in a man's world, wish I could fly. Dilly lily curl, caught up in a twirl of a butterfly. La da 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 dee, la da 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 da. Wish I could fly. Silly little girl, caught up in this world of lullaby.
When the mics go on, the lights go on. It's like Muhammad Ali and Tyson Spawn. I take a stab at you, a jab at you. I do one carry style, make them laugh at you. Try me, ain't nothing worse than a little defeat from trying to wake a sleeping giant that ain't even asleep. I'm not your ordinary shorty, I be bobbing and weaving. Don't even give me no excuses, just to knock a few teeth in. Bust a shot like a semen, you do not wanna see it. Have you in predicaments you do not wanna be in. The last man to try, the last man to die. Wiggle my toes, then turn to the last samurai. Move. Who not scared to die? We running with our spears to the sky, screaming Bismillah. So please be advised, cause she's gon' light up the trails. Better listen to them old wise tales.
Silly little girl in a man's world, wish I could fly. Dilly lily curl, caught up in a twirl of a butterfly. La da 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 dee, la da 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 da. Wish I could fly. Silly little girl, caught up in this world of lullaby.
Without warning, she could get real appalling and imbalanced. Don't even know what to call it. S-I-O, or you can call me bad business. Talking eyes, wire boys in the hood, down to menace. The skull smasher, basher, chicken head mangler. To use you as a tool for my misplaced anger. The dude ripper, cause they don't even see me come out. I blindside them, before they can even get their guns out. Now who next to try? Who next to die? What you call fighting for your life? I call exercise. Coming through, looking like Lucy Lou, whipping shanks out, running down the block. Woo-dee-woo! Ooh, you acting all intrusive. We rolling kinda deep up in this piece. Now don't be foolish. Don't make a sister lose it. That would not be conducive, but wouldn't be the first time people die for something stupid. Stupid.
Silly little girl in a man's world, wish I could fly. Dilly lily curl, caught up in a twirl of a butterfly. La da 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 dee, la da 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 da. Wish I could fly. Silly little girl, caught up in this world of lullaby.
Baby, it's Dirty Harry, yeah. Think it, y'all.
Boom, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. I hope you enjoyed Girl Samurai Lullaby by Stone Mecca, Dexter Wiggle, someone else. It doesn't matter. We've been talking a lot about rap. We should probably switch gears at some point, but also, I would like to freestyle. Do you like to be a beat man, or do you prefer to be the front man for lyrics when it comes to like freestyle stuff? If you're like kind of with your buddies, because me and Nolan, like, it's off and on. Like sometimes I'll just want to make a beat out of nowhere, like or something like that, and then he'll want to spit, or maybe he'll just start doing something stupid, and I'm like, keep doing that, and I'll hear it, and I'm like, all right, keep doing that. Now add this, and then we'll just kind of spiral into that.
No, I'm the verse man. Like when I was in middle school, my
lyricists.
I remember when I was in middle school, me and my homies, we would always like freestyle in the cafeteria and stuff.
That's funny.
And one of my best friends, his name's Anthony. Shout out to the homie Anthony. He would always like, beatbox for me, and I just freestyle, like, and we just take turns going around the circle. Sometimes
that's awesome.
We roast each other, battle or whatever. It was just all fun, and that's kind of where it all started at, honestly. So
playground rapping.
Yeah,
that's hardcore.
Here we are.
I love that.
Yeah.
I did the same thing in lunchrooms, but instead of rapping, I was pitching material that was a little too vulgar for children ears. But at the same time, I was a child, so I thought everybody was cool with PP jokes, but I guess not.
Yeah.
Not to bring up PP jokes, but Chris Brown is doing all right, I guess. And
wow.
Or is that R. Kelly? See, sometimes they run into each other.
You meant
I'm
R.
sorry.
Kelly.
Let's get it right. Chris Brown beat a chick, and then R. Kelly's the PP tape. Let's get that correct, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, I can't wait to see the face. I wish I could just have a camera out in the hallway, because every time someone walks by, and they're just like, what did I stumble across, and how can I forget it very quickly? Because that, madam and anyone else, was awful. I want to come to your rap stuff at some point. What is the admission for tomorrow?
Tomorrow, I think tomorrow's free, actually. Yeah,
that'd be cool.
Slide through, yeah. And I got another show on the 22nd,
right?
At Bar Granada's downtown Dayton. That's $5 to get in. Cool. And I got another show on the 30th at Jimmy's Ladder 11, and I think that's also $5 to get in too. So I'll send you the flyers. Like I'll DM you. I'll
for
DM
sure. Like because I want to come to some of that stuff, just because like I don't know, I like the culture, and while I may not be impressed by everybody, just like stand up, seeing people put themselves out there is nice, because then it really relates you, and you're like, you're not so alone in the world, and there's like-minded individuals that are just literally trying their best to do either comedy and make people laugh, or rap and spit something that's going to impress someone, or just for 10 seconds stop thinking about the lifelong struggles of things that you have going on in your life, and just maybe tune out and head bob and enjoy, and not, dwell and feel like absolute human garbage. I don't know. Maybe I'm spiraling into my own depression. You like horses? Just switch it to like something totally different. I grew up on a farm, kind of in the country, no neighbors. The ones that they were like 85-year-old German Baptists. They could make bread, but they couldn't hold a conversation to save their lives.
Out here in Dayton?
Yeah. Well, I live like 50 minutes away. It was like Lewisburg. It was kind of on the border of Indiana.
Okay.
But yeah, like I was up in Amish hood, and like that stuff's crazy. I've got a good story. Shout out to Logan Pettit for telling me this story, because he, I can say his name because he was not part of this story, but he had told me the story of one of his best friends who will not be named due to the illegal nature of this story. But let's say his name's Mark. Mark met a bunch of Amish dudes that during this time of their life, and I don't know what you know about Amish culture, they like to break out of their own culture one time to see if they want to enter the real world, because as you know, or may not know, Amish people don't have phones, don't use technologies, are boring, is what I'm saying. So they like to just go out in the world and do a bunch of crazy hardcore stuff, and then they're like, well, I guess I either like that or I don't.
Right.
And I guess that's a good way to measure life. But these Amish folks met Mark, and Mark is a hardcore MF, and we'll leave it at that, because he decided to roll up to a Dayton strip club with 12 Amish, like, hermaphrodite, like, whatever the little word like, little Amish people were that you use to label them, rolled up with 12 dudes with beards and suspenders and all, got all black strippers, did coke off their like tuckuses
What?
for the. I mean, like hardcore stuff. And it's just it's just all these white dudes, because with all black strippers doing coke, like breaking out of their own Amish culture. And at the end of the day, while a lot of crazy stuff's happening in the picture, you gotta think that's the most awesome thing to happen in culture bridging, is like all African American strippers with all crazy looking Amish MFs doing all lines of coke, everybody on the same level of ecstasy. And for that moment, no one's really thinking about technological advances, religion, what happens after death.
I'm gonna be real, bro. You lost me at hermaphrodite strippers, bro.
Yeah, it's a hard. It's a hard story. A typical Friday night says, postal private, whoever that is. The names that this generator comes up with are crazy. Or I like to imagine that people are coming up with those own crazy names by themselves. But postal pirate, whatever I said, a typical Friday night in Ohio is correct. If you don't party with some Amish dudes with some hermaphrodites and do lines of cokes, like Always Sunny has the best quote about that. It's like, now let me just crush up one of these pills and snort the line off your ding dong. What do you say for old time's sake? And he goes,
oh my gosh,
I think I'm gonna leave. I played a lot, but you haven't heard it, so I just like to see people's face. When you snort lines off of someone's ding dong, you have a lot of issues, but you also have.
By the power of Grayskull.
AIDS! I got AIDS. We're coming through. Yeah, sorry. I'm his doctor. My patient's got to get to the front of the line because he has AIDS. I got the AIDS. Got it from a gay guy in the 80s. I'm not gay. I mean, there's two kind of AIDS. There's the vagina AIDS and the needle-based AIDS. I'm a vagina guy. Well, no, actually, my test results showed that it was the gay AIDS. All AIDS are bad. There's no good AIDS. But I'm telling you, like I said, this is not the gay AIDS.
This is not the gay AIDS. Oh, wow. I love that sound button, and I try to play it every chance I get, because the He-Man smashed with the Always Sunny AIDS bit, to me, is like the pinnacle of comedy. I don't know, like, there's just some crazy dudes that have some crazy stuff. And my thing is, like, those Amish dudes, they're never going to get convicted for doing all that coke and banging hermaphrodite strippers and doing all crazy stuff and just going with the flow, because they're white dudes that live in the farm. Like, the government isn't concerned with them. And the reality that we need to face is, why is the government concerned with certain masses of populations and not others? They should either be concerned with everybody or concerned with nobody. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'm not a fan of the government. You got any good stories? I got some, but I'll let you try to tell me some crazy adventures. Or friends' crazy adventures that you're allowed to tell, because it's layered under personas of who is that.
Like crazy adventures?
Yeah, crazy adventures. I mean, the hermaphrodite bang a Amish story.
Me and my friends ain't never did nothing crazy.
Nah, we're kind of sensible and aren't insane. That's funny. Let's see. I think I can tell this story, because it's not really like, they're not really in a place to where this would affect them financially. So I guess I can tell this story. It just comes off a little, not racist, but like, you'll hear it. So I was at dinner once with my family, and at the time, this current state of my family, because I've had multiple different older brothers and multiple different times of having different older brothers live with me, so and so on. This point in my life, I had my older brother Lutz, who was black and from Germany, so he was just a package of a person, personality-wise. And I had my other brother Frank, who is white, just ripped, nice guy. Both played for the Dayton Dragons. We're at dinner at Pizza Hut, and they're talking about World War II. I have no idea why. I think they had both smoked a joint, TBH. But nonetheless, I can't rewind time to tell you those details. But they were going off about, which country could have won if so-and-so would have done different, because a lot of people like to play that in their heads, like, oh, if so-and-so has done that. At some point, and Lutz is a German full through, so his accent is all the way there, stands up at the table, slams his hands on the ground, and goes, you know what, Frank? If I would have been a Nazi, I would have killed all the Jews, because I would have been a killing machine. And then 4 minutes of silence followed that, accompanied by, Frank, remember when I told you I'd have been the best Nazi? I am sorry. I would have not killed Jews because killing Jews is wrong. And I'm like, wow, Lutz, it took you 4 minutes to apologize about massacring Jews. We're going to work on that bit later.
Oh, God.
But the point I'm trying to say is I've lived a very different life. I've had multiple different older brothers influence me with very different styles of humor and very different styles of life. I mean, I remember one time my older brother Sal moved in, and it was the first night I had ever met him. And we just moved his stuff in downstairs into one of the basement bedrooms. And I got a phone call from an unrecognized number, and I'm like, I don't even know who this is. I answer it, it's Sal. And he's like, are you awake? And I was like, who is this? He goes, it's me. And I'm like, me who? He goes, I'm in the basement. And I'm like, I'm about to freak out if you don't say your name. He goes, it's Sal. And I'm like, oh, okay. I thought a demon was calling me to like butt rape me from below or something.
What?
Well, I don't know. If you're getting a phone call, it's like, I'm in the basement, come down. What do you think's gonna happen? Regardless, he's like, dude, I had an injury today on the field and I really need some help. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'll come down in a second. So I turn the lights on, down the stairs. I see Sal. He's got a bruise, and for anyone at home, I just put my leg on the table for emphasis. Right all in the inner thigh. Like the whole inner thigh from kneecap to like where the balls would droop at, if to give you like that kind of physical mapping representation.
TMI.
To give you that, like that big area. I didn't see his balls. I'm giving you a range of leg, is what I'm trying to say. And the whole thing was a bruise. And I was like, dude, what happened? He goes, I was pitching and a guy hit a ball right at me and I couldn't dodge it. And I was like, well, that's crazy. Why are you telling me this? He goes, because I need your help. And I'm like, well, where is this going? He goes, I have to put on a lotion on the bruise and I legit can't even like move my shorts because I'm in so much pain. I'm like, what are you about to tell me? He goes, I'm about to bite down on this piece of wood and you're going to put the lotion on my thigh. And I'm like, I don't even know you yet. But he ended up growing up and playing for the Reds, so I guess at some point I can say I helped form the MLB staff of the Reds because I nursed a pitcher's leg back to health and accidentally touched pitcher scrotum. I mean, saw no balls, sir.
Oh, God.
But I don't know. I love all my family, and it kind of irks me when some people are like, oh, how can you be all your brothers? A different color. Wow, it's like color doesn't freaking matter, and it's your family, and they come back for Christmas, and sometimes Thanksgiving. I mean, they're busy, and they have to travel the globe, so it's hard, but, like, they're family. You know what I mean? That's what it irks me when, like, people don't give certain people credit for, like, music status because of race and culture, or, like, political affiliation, or anything because of that. Because, like, what? We all gotta come. So, why are their needs different than yours? We're all people. We all just trying to get off. That's how I like to look at it.
Wow.
Someone said you liked it, and I don't know what that means. So how'd you like the show? These are weird. I never know how to pitch this when I ask someone to come on, because I'm like, hey, do you want to come on my show? And they're like, yeah, what's it about? I'm like, you'll see. Did you have a good time?
It's been interesting.
That was the reaction. That was all I needed.
It's been interesting. I'll say that.
It's been something. Let me in. Oh my goodness. Okay, you ready for this? I've never done this. You stall for like a minute of talking. I'm gonna go let another guest in for this last 8 minutes. You ready?
Okay.
Go.
All right.
Talking, no silence.
All right. Shout out to everybody who've been, showing love. Make sure you go check out my newest EP, Hidden Gem. It's available on all streaming platforms. Make sure you follow me on Instagram at DKnightIsReal. Add me on Facebook, Twitter, DKnight937, SoundCloud.com/DKnightIsReal.
You just plug stuff. Yeah. I'm about to blow myself.
I'm plugging myself in, man.
Yeah. We've heard it before. Look who joined us, the ginger to be, Kellan, from last episode.
That was you sending the message.
Yeah, he was like, let me in. And I was like, what's happening? Rubbing the lotion. Was that also you, or was that Patrick? Oh, now I'm really worried about who that was. How'd you like the show? Did you listen to today's episode? I saw a couple comments from Kellan, so I assume so.
The Kodak Fat comment was mine too. I just didn't put my name on that one.
That's funny. What do you think about the Kodak situation?
This isn't his first time in jail, so I'm not.
Is it not?
It's not.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That changes things for me.
Well, I think that's why his sentence is longer, too, because of that.
Well, he did, racketeer a bunch of guns. I think that's going to get you a pretty big charge. If anything,
I don't think
his sentence is pretty small.
It wasn't racketeering.
No.
Was that not what it was?
Somebody said he lied about some charges, too, so it's a lot of stuff, for real.
He had, He had, felony weapon charges, but racketeering is like 40 years. He only got like 4 years.
Really?
He was facing 8, I think, but he only ended up getting 4.
He might have faced some stuff. He probably pled guilty some stuff.
I'm not a big Kodak fan, especially when he dyed his hair yellow and looked like Lisa from The Simpsons. I was like, what is happening here with this dude? Like, do you think... I know people need a niche to them, but, like, I also don't agree with the fact that you should have to, like, make your body a billboard to get seen. Like, I don't like the way 6ix9ine approached his look. Like, he looks terrible with the rainbow hair and the tattoos all over. Like, I love... second burp today. I love ink. I have a big tattoo on my back. Like, I'm going to get a bunch more when I'm older and I have the money. But the point is, like, don't just do that to do it. It's permanent, and it's your look, and it's what you're presenting to the world. And
that's just his brand, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think you should have to brand yourself to be found.
Well,
like, if you're not good enough,
brand is
music-wise,
important. People underestimate the power of a strong brand. Brand
you think so?
Yeah, that's why Jay-Z's still around. Because his name is a strong brand.
He did kind of do that in
brand is what separates you from everybody else.
They were coming up and they were making money, and they started that label that was like challenging Bad Boy, and
which it was more than a label, it was a brand.
And then they were like, "What? All right, they have headphones. Why don't we just make our own?" And then they kept doing that and they just kept making so much money. Of any of the rap groups, they definitely made the most money for themselves, the smartest way possible. So I will always give Jay-Z that like credit of like whoever, no matter who they say is self-made, Jay-Z is pretty self-made. Definitely. Like everything to the core is him, and gotta be like, it don't even matter. How was your day, Kellan?
This is my second show I've been on today, so pretty good.
You've been on another show today, you slow slut. Where have you been today so far?
I was on Natalie's show earlier for that. I was just running the board.
Did she let you talk on it?
Yeah, I was.
How did that go?
It was pretty good. We just talked about current events. So we talked about like Disney Plus.
Disney Plus. Oh my God! Did you guys get Disney Plus? My girlfriend got it. She was over ecstatic, and I was like, "Honey, I've seen Walt Disney's movies before. I understand he secretly wants to kill all the Jews. What are we trying to get to?" No, did you know that he's like a huge anti-Semite? Like Walt Disney is like on record, like he used to have crazy amounts of black and white cartoons that were like killing Jew, not like propaganda stuff, like Donald Duck with Hitler stuff, like all the time. Like, did either of you know that?
That was like way back in the day.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter. Like,
I'm not justifying. I'm just saying it was way back in the day.
Like, I'm not trying to belittle like Disney because a lot of people like it, a lot of people go, a lot of people enjoy the services and companies and movies they make, but like at its very inner core, it was started by a racist. So at some point we should call him out on that and then move on.
A lot of these companies were.
I just don't think we should like brush it under and like not care. You know what I mean? Like the whole Christopher Columbus thing of like, sailed the ocean blue, 1972. Or maybe he killed a lot of Indians and we should have an Indigenous People Day instead and make it right.
Well, we already settled that though. Like, we already determined Christopher Columbus is trash. Like that ain't news to us.
Mrs. Disappointment said, "I am from Mickey Mouse's state and God bless, I will watch his movies." Listen, they're good movies. I'm not trying to say that. I'm just saying the money is coming from an anti-Semitic place. I don't know. Maybe we shouldn't spiral into calling Walt Disney a Nazi. But then again, if we didn't, it wouldn't be disappointing. Kellan, you're starting a show Monday, and I talked about it for a sec. Why don't you actually talk about that? Because you're going to be joining the staff soon.
All right, so my show is like a current event sports show. So, for example, my show on Monday, hopefully on Monday, we're going to talk about like Astros tipping pitches off with the camera because they got camera in the center field, and they can see the pitcher's sign like that he's giving his.
Is that real?
Yeah, so listen.
I didn't know that happened.
All right, so
that's actually kind of crazy.
So your brothers probably know this too. DD probably knows all about this.
Right.
What they do is they got a sign, and any like catcher in the MLB, they'll have signs with their pitcher. So they got that camera, and if there's an off-speed pitch, so like a slider or a changeup, you'll hear a bang from the dugout. And if it's not
clever,
and it's not an off-speed pitch, you won't hear anything. And like a good MLB pitcher, hitter, they can sit on that fastball
and no.
That's major cheating. This is worse than Spygate. This is worse than Deflategate.
It's almost as bad as like people putting grease in like the top of their hat so they can like put more curve on the ball.
That's
like,
not
cheating.
That's not that bad because that
it's a level of cheating.
It's a level of cheating, but that's more gamesmanship. This is straight up electronically cheating because you see the sign, and a second later you can hear the bang. They're bashing a metal trash can. You can hear it in the clip. So
that's wild. Are you a big sports guy?
Yeah, I'm big.
What do you? I'm not a huge sports guy, but I like my teams. What sports do you like, and what teams do you like?
I watch football and basketball a lot. Yeah.
Do you have any top 1 to 2 teams for each?
Oh yeah, I only got my favorite basketball team. I'm a big Cavaliers fan, and
football. I got a lot of Cavs friends.
Yeah, I'm a big LA Chargers fan too.
Mm-hmm. The only thing I've ever held as a I guess a racism for sports fans is if anyone's like, I'm a Pirates fan, immediately I'm like, oh, I hate you. Because I hate all Pirates fans. Because I've been to many Pirates baseball games. Every Pirates fan is trash. They hate you. They hate everyone. They hate themselves. I don't know what their deal is. But they want to die. And they want everyone to die in their stadium for some reason. And on that note, we're going to play the last culture shock for the show and come back and sign off the show with some jokes or talking or whatever. Please, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy You Already Know by Suga Bang, Inspect the Deck, and RZA off the Afro Samurai Resurrection album. So please enjoy.
Trust me. Out of my way. A kidnapping in broad daylight? That's a damn shame.
This where legends get made. Clean titles through the edge of the blade. Afro bro flow smoother than 70s swing. Number 1 headband. Homie flinch is a dead man. No rich side, these IVs are bad pants. One stroke left hand. Blood in the red sand. You know where I rep it. Desert lands where the desert blend. Baby working with heavy hands. Dudes call them afro. Get sliced down from quick piece. Us handle. And y'all talk like I'm the one to listen. I'm on that long mission. Dude is going fishing. 7:30 early. He beating the dawn fisherman. I don't chase him or replace him, my fisherman. I take a limb shot and walk away whistling. Plot on tops of the 5 fam at the christening. Bubble boost, double loop like the Michelin man. Streets of NYC to the Michigan.
Well, you know, you already know. Well, you already know. Well, you know, you already know. Well, you already know. Well, you know, you already know. Well, you already know. Well, you know, you already know. Well, you already know.
Straight out the woods where the hoods don't come. It's the legend and I'm second to none. Son is better to run. Try and check before you get to your gun. You gon' leave with your head in the trunk. Show enough, I'm a beast on the strip. Realize you done said your last words once I reach for the hip. Man, don't even give me reason to flip. It's the season to flip. You know the drill, so don't even resist. The kid live with the blade, one with the jungle. Calm and I'm humble, but I said it in the rage. I'm looking for some get back, get back. I'm quick to push a wig back. Nigga shouldn't have did that. Now I'm on your head like tight pants all across mountaintops, deep water and highlands. See me, see the end of your days. For all y'all, I'm deaf in the flesh. Remember my face.
Well, you know, you already know. Well, you already know. Well, you know, you already know. Well, you already know. Well, you know, you already know. Well, you already know. Well, you know, you already know. Well, you already know.
You have crossed the line with me. I've had guys throw barbecues at me. They broke the windows out of my car. They've cursed and sworn at me. But the bottom line is I ain't shook. Cause if the right hook comes out, crazy motherfuckers like you get knocked out. Don't be looking me in the eyes, boy. I ain't got no candy for you. No candy. Except for the right hook.
Let's get back to the show before one of you at home catch one of these crazy right hooks, you crazy motherfucker.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed that last culture shock for the evening. That has been the Disappointing Radio Show. My guests have been on mic 1,
D-Night.
And on mic 2, surprisingly, joining us at the end was...
Kellan Schultz, a.k.a. DJ Red.
Oh, is that the name? I love that. DJ Red. You should...
It's very... I don't know. I just want to have like a one-syllabus word just so it's
That's good. You should... I like that. DJ Red. The whole ginger thing, it's going to play well.
Hope so.
Any last remarks? The last comment of the night was from Pothead Potato, says, "What sport did you play, Brighton? Table tennis?" That hurts my feelings, but
man.
that's probably not
sport.
You're right. I played golf like a real white person.
Out to get you.
I don't know. They're a little right. I mean, I love table tennis. This has been the show. I hope you join us next week for anyone that's listening at home. It's a disappointing as always. Again, my guess, we didn't spit raps, but who knows? Maybe if anything, we'll make a little radio button of us rapping, and it'll be hilarious. And then I'll just always have it on the show. Tune in next week. The episode will be on Spotify tomorrow. If you're listening in the future, then congratulations. You know how to follow directions.
Who do we got next week?
Next week, I may have some lesbians on. That'd be cool to have a big lesbian episode of like everybody in the studio doesn't really like penis. So I think that'd be pretty funny. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Disappointing Radio Hour. I've been DJ Disappointment. Follow us on anything, re-listen to the episodes, do whatever. Have a good night, and not God bless, because we're not going to subjugate you to that. And if anything, Buddha bless, be gone.